Now we're going to take a closer look at tenths. Similar to tens, tenths are spelled with a single zero, but it's a zero for the whole number part, the decimal point, and then the number of tenths. So let's look at tenths. Here we have one whole square shaded in. Here we have taken one whole square and divided it into 10 equal parts to make tenths. And so 1/10 of the square is shaded. We divided it into 10 equal parts, and so the type of fraction that we created are tenths. And the number of tenths that we're looking at, that we've shaded in here, is 1. And so this is 1/10. Once I know what kind of fraction, I know that these are tenths. It takes 10 tenths to make one whole. And here I see 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, and then filling in the others, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, 10/10. So 10/10 make one whole. So how many whole squares and how many tenths are shaded? And so I'm going to read my whole number part. Here I have 2 whole squares shaded. How many tenths are shaded? 3/10. And I can write that in my place value chart. My whole units, decimal point. Make sure your decimal point, loud and proud, happy to exist as a decimal point. And then 3/10. Looking at the next one, how many whole squares are shaded in? 1 whole. How many tenths are shaded in? Well, there's 10 in total. 2 of them are blank, so I'm going to make sure I count and get 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is 1 whole and 8/10. In class, a lot of you were miscounting on these diagrams. Remember, there's 10 tenths. There's 10 tenths altogether. And so you can look at how many are shaded, and you use how many are still blank to quality check your work. Moving on, how many whole squares are shaded? There are 2 whole squares. How many more tenths are there? There's 1 more tenth. And so that's going to be 2 and 1/10. Your turn to complete the rest of this page.